Hey guys, welcome back to the garage and to another Saturday Spotlight. I'm doing this one just a little bit different this time. Going to kind of change it up a little bit in the fact that not only am I going to highlight one of my old past builds, I'm going to go ahead and do, we're going to take a look at this. I had this on the last video. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this just a little bit deeper today. And then I've got a modern kit comparison that we want to look at and see what kind of differences are between the two kits. They're very, very similar, yet quite different. And we're going to go over that here in just a minute. I'm going to get into the history of this. I think we'll just go ahead and look at the car first. Then I'll get just a little bit of the history of this kit, and then we'll go on to the comparison. And once again, cold in the garage again, guys. I don't have any heat out here, so I'm going to try to get through this just as quick as I can, but be as thorough as I can as well. So if you just bear with me, we'll just get right into this thing. So what we're going to do, this is the Monogram 71 satellite. I just did a quick look in my last video, but I wanted to break it down really good here. So this particular model I built in. And this, again, this is not obviously not the box from this kit itself, but it's the same release. But anyway, I built this kit in probably 89 or 90, I'm going to say. I do know that for a fact because at my high school graduation, I had a table of my things out, and this was a model that I put on the table as one of my hobbies. But anyway, we don't have the turntable today, being it's cold like this. They don't want to work that well out here in the cold, so we just got this nice little display base that my wife picked up at the thrift shop for me. So another new prop, so we might just use those through the winter time, as long as I'm doing them out here in the garage anyway. So we're just going to bring this in here real quick. Again, 1990 is probably when this was assembled. Pretty sure 88 or 89, like I said. But it is the 71 Plymouth Satellite, and I just opted to do pretty much the box art. I think I got just a little bit different color of interior in there. Now, I did go ahead and give this thing a clean in because it's been sitting on the shelf out here in the garage shed / wood shed, and it got a little dusty. But this guy is not going to go back on that shelf. Now that I've got him cleaned up, I am going to take and put them in a case and put them in the house. So just too nice to set out here like that. But anyway, we're just going to go over this real quick here, take a look around. Just a pretty basic build. This is pretty much box stock. I think I did add some wires once again to the thread as I used to use. And this paint, guys, was actually Testors. I believe it was a Testors Rattle Can Black. Now that's been after all these years. And I said I just took it in and washed it, and we've missing a mirror has come up missing over the years. But I just took that in the house and cleaned it up and did a quick polish on it. And, you know, the paint has not held up too awfully bad over the years. But I did go with the stripe. I lost my pointer. I always lay them on the wrong side. I did go with this stripe around here, and that's held up. Again, no clear coat over that. I really wasn't using clear coat at all back in the day. So that's just, those have held up all this time, and it's been out here in the weather, well, not in the weather, but, you know, subject to cold and warm and hot temperatures, and holding up really good. There's that back end. They don't have any taillight lenses. You actually just paint those in there. So those are all painted taillights, backup lights there. Got the dual exhaust on that. And then it's got that, inside's just a little bit dirty yet, but it's got that console with the old slapstick automatic in it. And I did like a tan interior. I have seen some Mopar cars back in the day with that, about that color of interior, and then went with the black dash, as probably would have been with that interior option. And then it's got those nice rally wheels on it. I love those. And then we'll take a look at the bottom here. And then again, I did not paint the bottom. This is just the color of the plastic, but I figured it's black. And back in, you know, I didn't care. I wasn't going to paint it. Today, I probably would paint it regardless. But that's just me now anyways. But this does have the automatic transmission in it. And I'm going to, a little nugget to that thing, I'm going to share that here in just a minute when we go over the rest of the kit here when we compare. And then let's go ahead and open the hood here. And that hood, now I did lose a hinge right there, basically, quote unquote, broke on me. But there's that 440 engine, and I did go ahead back in the day and just little attempt at adding some heater hoses there just for a little extra added detail. And then those are the wires. Basically, all I did was thread, just glued it to the top, maybe put a dab of paint over the distributor, and there was my wired engine. So not a whole lot else detail on this, guys. It's pretty much just right out of the box. Dad and I were over at a local hobby store a few towns over, and seen this down there, and we just decided to pick that up, and then went home. I think I pretty much started on it right away because I just loved that. I like this body style, and I like the 70 the best. But this is still a really, really cool looking car. Now, I had a 73 Charger, similar in shape, design. This back window was pretty much shaped the same way on mine. Close, you know, one's Dodge, one's Plymouth, but you know, you get the picture. But anyway, so there we go. 1971 Plymouth Satellite. So, and that's really all I'm going to cover on actually showing the car, but there's also the decals, as I interrupted myself, decals on the hood, and then the 440 call it out there. Now, I did a little bit of a research on the kit, and we're going to set this guy. I'm just going to put him over here because we're going to be bringing some more boxes in here. I did do a little bit of research on the model itself, and guys, as far as I could tell, now according to ScaleMates, the closest I could tell was this right here version was only released in 1984. I don't think there was any other issues of this as a 71 Satellite subsequently with different box art. I think this was it. So we're going to take a closer walk around the box. Again, if you missed the last video, we're just going to go ahead and take a walk around here real quick. There's a top at classic Monogram labeling. I love the looks of that. Love these old kits. Now, these are 1/24 scale. Most of, not all of, but I believe most of all of Monogram stuff, most of their stuff was 1/24 scale. And then again, this calls out molded in black. So you could actually take that thing, probably just polish the body up too, really, really nice, and get a nice finish on that. But there's just a side there, and I think I showed that on the last video. There's just a rear top view, and then the engine shows the engine there, and then back view, frontal side view. Again, then this is kit number 2213 right there. Again, same box art usually on the side is on the top. So when you're looking at it on the shelf, you can see a full-on shot of that. And then there's that awesome side view there. Again, you can pause that if you want to read that. Again, like I said before, just like kind of like the NASCAR of this era, had the full side view then with the write-up on it there. And then 1984. So, like I said, the best I could find on the Satellite was 1984 release only. And then it appears to me on there it showed up 2025 and it said Revell, but it did not have a picture on there. But it said 2025 71 Satellite GTX Street Machine. So, kind of interesting. If anybody knows anything about Revell planning to re-release a Satellite GTX, let me know. And I tell you what, I think I can tell you pretty much what it will be, basically. And you might have seen this on the thumbnail. This is the comparison kit. Right here, we're going to take a look at this one. 1970, this is from Fast and Furious, Dom's 71 Plymouth GTX. And there you go again, see it's 1/24 scale. And of course, Revell really acquired all those Monogram molds, and they're basically rebranding some of the newer kits and actually putting the Monogram labels on them. So we're going to do a quick comparison on this. I say quick, I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can. And I've already gone through here and I've opened up bags and stuff, so I don't have to waste any time on camera opening up bags or anything like that. So what we're going to do, I tell you what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to pause just a minute, and then I'm going to lay some stuff out here. We'll kind of put these side by side and see if we can see any major differences. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, guys, I got both kits laid out here on the bench. On this side on the left here, we've got the original Monogram Satellite, and then over here on the right, we've got the Revell 71 GTX. Just going to do a real quick comparison here, see what things are different, what things are the same, and there's obviously going to be one major difference in the body itself. We pretty much know that already. Now, there's probably been comparisons of these out there already. I'm maybe not necessarily aware. I'm sure there's been somebody that's compared these kits, but for this channel, I just thought it'd be, since we was talking about that car, we'll just go ahead and do this really quick here. So we'll start out with the body, probably going to be the obvious one. Again, this is the 71 Satellite from from 1984, Monogram. So pretty much the basic body here. And then if you go around, there's really not much to it. And then we're going to go ahead and, as we see that, we're going to go ahead and pull this one in. Okay, so right away you see the major difference. There's the, see it, there's the GTX right behind the door there on the quarter panel. And then this has also got some chrome or a trim piece down here on the bottom. So there's none on this one. So that's the major difference right there. And then another difference on the body is they've actually put the mounts here for a go wing on the back there. They've actually added that. As you see, this doesn't have that on here, although there are some dimples there. And if we look underneath, you see right here, and then you see on this side right here are holes. It looks like you could have done the same thing there. And they've got a part number here, and it actually, if you can see it, barely there, but you can see where they've scratched the mold basically and try to get rid of those part numbers basically. But so what we're looking at here, guys, more than likely they've taken this satellite kit. So we'll probably never see this in a standard satellite form unless they would completely retool, because I think they changed the molds to make the GTX. If anybody knows, again, 100%, let me know. I don't want to mislead anybody, but that would be my guess. That's probably why we'll never see one of these original form satellites come along after this. So we'll go along here. We're just going to compare these trees now. Again, I didn't open this glass. This did not come in plastic on the 71 satellite, but they are virtually, as you can probably see there, they're virtually the same tree. So they got all the same. So that's 100% identical there. And then we will look at, I should have laid these out in order, how I wanted to look at them. So let's look at the chassis as I'm working around the camera here. Probably not going to knock everything off. It's going to turn into a total disaster. Watch. Anyway, okay, let's look at this. So here's the chassis. There's the chassis tree. And then you see where the seats are lined up. Now, these have the seat backs. They just fell out off the tree into the bag. So those, they're pretty much exactly the same. And you can see right here. You see right there, it's, let's turn it up around this way to see. Basically a copy right there with Monogram models. And then on this one, it just says Revell Inc. 1984 China right here. So it does have the 1984 on that. And then, of course, they just stamped the Fast and Furious over here. So that's virtually the same tree, come from the same mold. Run out of room on the bench. Let me move this guy out of the way. We'll just put that over there. So let's see the next one. Let's look at the interior. Again, as I fumble over everything. Okay, then we got some of the same thing here. Okay, here's your interior. Okay, now we see this one's going to vary now. All right, so if we lay this up over the top here, let's do it this way. Told you, fumble fingers. Let's do it this way. Okay, so we lay right here. So everything from here, from this post on this runner down, is the same, except for this has a lower hanging tail on it right here. So this said the engine half is actually, I do have one for the black one. It's right there. So this is the same. So here's what they've added. They've added this section. They give you actually a firewall front, basically. There's your go wing, and then this would be for the like for the air grabber, and then there's for an air grabber scoop, and then there's your 6-pack intake, and then some spoilers for up underneath that front valance up there. So so that definitely has been added. You see right there where they would have added that in after that post. So that is a pretty much a major difference on that tree. But everything else so far looking pretty good. So what do we got next here? Okay, let's find the one with the differential. It is right here. And it's probably going to fall off of there before we're done. We'll take a look at these. So pretty much if you lay these over one another, Okay, you're pretty much going to see we've got the exact same thing there, except for this fan is bigger than the black one. And then this steering wheel, this is that, they call that the tough steering wheel. Now this one, it's still in the bag, but I do have the other steering wheel. It's just like a standard Dodge Plymouth steering wheel. So this section has been changed on this tree here. And of course there's your valance, and there's that rear end fell off of there. I knew it was going to. But everything else on this one, and I got the front cover. Say some of this stuff, guys, after the years falls off, doesn't last as long. And I apologize for my lighting. Guys, I'm standing too close, I think, there. But anyway, yeah, everything's the same on this, but after the years, those just start to fall off, but those parts are all accounted for. So we see this is the same, except they've changed this up here. So we will come down here, and guys, I'll be right back. Now, guys, my battery just about conked on me there, so with another little adjustment here, 1 second, we're going to see if we can't change this lighting just a little bit. Okay, hopefully that helped. It looks a little bit better from this end. All right, so as I work around the cord, so what we determined is we pretty much got the same one on this interior. We got the same one on this, except for these steering wheel and the fan. The fan is bigger on that one. And then, now this is a totally, you see on this one had the K-member there with the torsion bars, same as the black one. But this is one they've added for this 71 GTX. They've added this whole is a complete new tree. They give you an extra or another K-frame, but it is specific to this wheel setup here. Now, if I ever build this one, this 71 GTX, I will go with the factory style wheels on that. So that just my preference, but that's what I'll be doing on that. So, but you got some nice extra parts for another project. So let's look at the chrome tree on both of these. Never mind the organization. So anyway, so here we'll lay this up over the other one. So let's just lay this. Here's the original 71 Monogram, and this is the 71 GTX by Revell. If we lay this up, okay, so you see here, this whole half here is the same thing, exactly the same. And then they've added this runner over here, gives you your 6-pack air cleaner, and then there's your three carburetor setup there. So everything else, as far as that goes, is identical. Your rally wheels and everything. This chrome's a little bit more rich and bright. I don't know if it's because this has just got the age on it, or if I remember, I don't think the chrome was that rich on them back then anyways, you know, because where technology is today. But and then something interesting about this, now this one you had to paint, as I showed you on the actual car, you actually had to paint the tail lights and the backup lights. But we're going to take a look at something on this one, and then you see, of course, you'd have the same. You could do the same on that. But we're going to go over something else here in a minute. We'll look at the hoods. The hoods are the same thing. Same thing there. And this pretty much was all the same because this was the only option on the Monogram, 71 original Monogram kit. So again, everything's the same on here. So far, guys, everything is looking alike. And then if you look at these tires here, these are just plain generic, no names. But these here had the, says the Goodyear steel belted radial on there. So that's the difference on the tires. And then, of course, they give you these extra, you know, low profile big tires for this 71 GTX. Now, we'll look at this here real fast on the instructions. Oh, I'll show you this decal sheet here. Okay, so now see here, this one they give you decals for the tail lights and the backup lights. So I think that's pretty cool. They give you the dash gauges. There's your GTX emblems. And then your rear and front and side marker lights. And then you get that Plymouth that goes around that front, on that front panel above the grill. And then it gives you a couple license plate options. There's a 446 barrel. And I guess they do give you, it looks like some, I'm trying to read that on there. Okay, I guess these are tire callouts probably for your big tires there. And then, of course, gives you some hood pins and then just your hood decals there. So that's pretty cool on that. And then this decal sheet on this one, pretty basic. Again, I don't know if this would be usable or not. It's hard to say until you start to use it. And then again, just your top stripes there, meet up in 2 pieces. Then for your hood there, and then your 440 call out. Get it focused again. And then it gives you a, look at there, it says runner. Go figure, little hint there maybe. But anyway, so that's the decal sheet for the 71. And then basically, we're running kind of high on time here, guys, for this, but I wanted to get this comparison in. You got just a standard old Monogram instruction sheet there. Pretty basic stuff. And then just, I'm not going to really take a lot of time, but now some of these on this book style, Revell, they've got some of the pretty much same illustration pictures like this one. I guess that's not a good example there of that interior. Yeah, even, okay, see, they're just a little bit different. The ones they're showing the differential or the rear end going in and things like that. But anyway, there are some recreated pictures for this one, and compared to the original too. So, but, and then of course, obviously, completely different decal placement on here. And I think it doesn't even give you, I guess it gives you a decal placement on these. But I don't think it gives you a deep placement for the stripes. It just calls out and tells you to follow the top of the box right there. It says the box top can be used as a guide for locating decals. So you would use that box top for that. So that's what we're coming up with on this, guy. So basically, I think in a nutshell, in the end, which, you know, was pretty obvious, this like is not a major mystery. Just something I wanted to do and run past you. In case anyone had not noticed or seen these kits, basically everything appears to be the same with the exception of some additions on some of these trees for the 71 over here, the GTX versus this one, so they could put the GTX parts and the extra wheels and stuff on this kit over here. So I would say, in a nutshell, and long and the short of it, they have changed the molds on this car to create this GTX, which is probably why in this fashion you'll probably never see the satellite. Now you probably could take and file these off and then clean this, smooth this up, and you basically have the same body. The only thing is, I did notice on this grill, I did want to run this again, and as you compare this, so this has been changed. This does say GTX in the center of the grill, and this one does not, obviously. So this one definitely is a satellite. Now, some features that I did want to point out. Basically, the GTX, as far as I could tell, and I started to do some research on the actual numbers, production numbers of these. Got kind of confusing just for the basic quick Google search that I did. So I don't really want to pass along any numbers as far as actual production numbers and what engine came in what, as far as that goes, because I don't want to get any, get any wrong information out there. So that's something you could research and find the actual numbers. But the best that I can tell, the GTX, the base engine was a 440, just like on the 1970s. I do know that. Base engine, but I believe a 383 could be had in a 71 GTX if one would order it that way. But I think base, from the factory, I think the base engine was the 440. And then the 71 satellite, you could get it slant 6 all the way up. I believe you could get the 440. I don't know if you get the Hemi in the satellite. I believe you could get the Hemi in the 71 or the 440 in the GTX. But I don't know about the satellite itself. So that's something else you could go and research. Maybe I'll even look into that myself later on as well. And the other thing is that I like about this kit, real quick, and then we're going to get out of here, is this engine, because it's got the automatic, you can use these in several different things. Now, I'm going to do some of the Superbirds. I've done 2 already. I've said in the past I want to do one in every color, and I'm actually going to do a couple automatic cars because I've got a couple of these cars accumulated for parts for the wheels and for specifically for this engine transmission. So that's a little nugget right there. So these cars are good for parts for other projects as well. All right, guys, one more time. I'm going to get this stuff cleaned up off of the bench, and I'll be back, and we'll wrap it all up, and we'll get you out of here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so there we have it, guys. Comparison of the Monogram 71 Satellite versus the Revell Fast and Furious 71 Plymouth GTX, and basically found out mainly the major difference is the bodies on them for the GTX badging on the Revell 71. But anyway, in a little bit different configuration, I said, for a Saturday Spotlight, but I really wanted to do this comparison, and I wanted to do this kit, or this car, for the Spotlight, so I thought, it's a good time just to combine them and get a little bit of maybe a little education in there. Hopefully it helps somebody out somewhere along the way. But anyway, as I dip back into the archives from about 35 years ago, still holding its own, I suppose. But this was a fun car to build. These go together great. There's very, very little fitment issues on these, and with a little extra time and detail, you can really make these things look outstanding. So eventually I plan to build another one of these. I don't know if I'll build this kit. It's hard to say, but I definitely do want to build one of the GTXs over there, and so it should go together about the same. So, well, guys, that's all I've got. Like I said, we're about a half hour now. I don't want to keep us any longer. So if you guys like this video, please give me a like, share, subscribe, and comment. And subscribers, thank you. I appreciate it so much. So until next time, this is Eric from Eric's Model Garage saying you guys have a great day. God bless you, and happy modeling.